Back again and again. Father Moo in your area. That's right, we got a big church. Room for everybody up in here. How y'all doing? How y'all diggity doing? Well, let's dive right in. My streams are somewhat infrequent these days, but I'm happy to be here with you now, doing it to it. I got a bit of a plan in my brain. Gonna map it out, make it sound right. So without further ado, let's do this thing. Okay. So today's patch. I'm going to try and follow my own advice. I am going to simply state what I'm going for with the patch. I am not going to map out every oscillator before I get them sounding good. Rather, I'm going to try and get them sounding good one voice at a time. So what's the concept behind today's patch? Pretty simple, really. I'm going to make 3 polyphonic voices, and I'm going to make them thick. I'm going to make them gloriously thick. Usually if I do 3 melodic voices, I usually use 3 oscillators. Today I'm going to use at least 2 sound sources for each of the 3 voices. They're probably going to lean towards traditional sound synthesis at the beginning, and they may get a little bit wilder as the patch goes on, but with the goal of following good sound as our primary source the whole way through. And if there is a little bit of processing power left after we have 3 times 2 oscillators is like 6. One of the oscillators might be noise, it might be a little cheaper. But if there is processing power left, I will probably throw in a kick and a hi-hat. The hi-hat might be a little bit along the lines of the Koralski Cells hi-hat that we did before. We'll see how it goes. So, filter. Let's just take a look at our filters here. We have this one, E, has 2 inputs, and this one, F, has 2 inputs as well. So whichever we end up using, we will have the option to, we don't need to build a mixer just to mix 2 oscillators together. So I'm going to start with classic low-pass filter here, and with so many of our melodic or Berlin School programs, I'm going to use a simple envelope for this one. The complexity will be going on in the dual oscillators. Oh, I will say that one other thing for this particular patch I'm going to try to avoid is... Oh, I just tricked myself, didn't I? I was wrong about the filter. What I'm going to avoid, I'll just repeat quickly, is the digitizer. But I was wrong. These are not inputs for the filter at all. These are control inputs. So we will need a little mixer to mix the sounds together. So let's put that in here. We'll use 3 inputs mixer. So there he is there. So here's our first voice. This one will be pure traditional oscillators. And this one is at E4. They're both at E4, so we'll dial one down to E3 just to give them some separation. And I think what we're going to try here, I'm not sure if it'll sound good, but we'll soon find out. We're going to try having both of them be square waves with pulse width modulation, but they will need different kinds of pulse width modulation. So they'll need 2 LFOs as their inputs. So as for the sequencing side of things, this is going to be quasi-generative. So, that's not the one I like to use. Where's B? B. By that I mean I'm not going to have complete robotic control over a 16-step sequence here. Instead, I'm going to use key quantizer to quantize the output of the sequencer. I'm going to run all of them at unusual step lengths, and I'm going to trigger their gates using clocked pattern generators. So we won't know exactly when they'll be firing off, but we do know it'll be in time with the clock. So let's run the clock to the sequencer. We'll leave reset out of it for now. And also run the same clock to here. I'm going to be programming these in C, so I'm going to give him some notes from C pentatonic major. And I think I'm going to put, I don't know if continuous is good or not in this. I don't think so. I'll worry about that later. Here's the randomness on the sequencer. And here's the output into the first pitch. And I'm sending the exact same output into the second pitch for the second oscillator and cranking both of those to full. I've got the two oscillator outputs wired into the mixer. And since we've got this guy clocked, we should be able to dial in a random pattern and bank. We may randomize that even more later. Send that to the gate. And pretty soon we should be getting some sounds. We got to connect this filter output. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the filter output is right. Oops, I just deleted it. What we needed was the mixer going into the filter in. There we go. We're a little fast. Let's dial her down to something more chill. And open up the filter so we can hear what's going on. So I talked about getting the tonality of each voice right, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not skimping on that. So I want to, first I'm going to mute one oscillator, so we just hear one at a time. And I'm going into LFO slave, good old C, that's the one I want. I'm making two of them because I'm going to need two of them. And I'm going to feed the pulse width modulation and open it up a bit. And there's our typical PWM sound. It's pretty neat. I got no problem with that. So let's try the next oscillator. Nice depth there. So let's offset his LFO a little slower and see what happens when we open the pulse width up. Good. I'm going to try dropping both of them down an octave. Interesting. Let's cut the decay back a little bit. That's interesting. Because we're getting sort of like double notes if the decay is too open. Right now we're definitely getting single notes. I'm just adding in a clocked random step generator here. Borrow the same clock. Feed it to the filter a bit, see what we get. Good, let's try opening this up again. That's cool. I'm going to make the filter a little bit less strict here. And try closing it a bit. I like that. I almost want to open this up more. I'm going to make the starting point higher. Oh, let's try keyboard tracking. That's useful. Keyboard tracking means that as you play higher notes, the filter opens up a bit, and vice versa if you play them lower. I haven't gotten into that in this stream very much, but it's pretty melodically useful. Here, I like the fact that some of the notes are being clipped or dulled by the filter when it's in a lower position. So that's good. That's a good first voice. We're at 36%. It's looking a little bit dangerous for the other voices if we use this much processing power to make it. I guess we can skip the LFOs on some of the others, but it's still kind of power hungry. Let's dive in and we'll start working on the second voice. So we had 2 square waves here. Let's go with a sawtooth to start today. And remember we dialed these down each an octave, so this guy's at E4 as default, so he's already an octave above the higher one and 2 octaves above the other. So that's good. That other guy had classic LP filters, so let's just change it up and use standard filter. He's going to need a mixer as well. Mixer feeds in there. He wants a normal envelope like the other guy. Send him into the mixer. That's there. I'm not sure if this is my final decision, but I'm going to start off by using noise as my second source here today. So there's a white noise. Sorry, a little coughing break there. Let's run white noise into the second input, but I can have a feeling he's not going to be at max volume as me really like shh. So I'm just going to dial him way back for now before we even start hearing this voice. But much of what we have here I want to duplicate for the second voice, so having a classic Frank running out of space again. Let's put the envelopes here. Move the filters over one column. Move this over one column, the oscillators. We'll use this column for programming for these bits. So I just held down the control while dragging and copied all of those identically. That's okay for me because I use the original data as a starting point. I'm going to re-randomize the notes here. Then I'm going to take the notes that are being quantized to and change those up. And I'm also going to take the default pattern that was being spat out of the pattern gen and change that. And this is fine. I'm just going to put it in colored mode just to have some variation. And you see I didn't duplicate these 2 LFOs because I don't need them because I'm not running pulse width modulation. So let's start by triggering the envelope with this. Okay, I can hear the second voice already. Let's open up the filter. That's cool. I think I'm going to send this output to both of the pattern gens and give them even more variation. It's fine so far. This guy's in 24 dB mode, so I'm inclined to use 12 for this guy just for variation. And this is the filter control. We're going to use another clocked LFO. Sounds cool. Try dialing in some more noise. can hear it there. When you have the filter being modulated this way, having noise as a source definitely fills in the blanks. It almost acts like a cymbal in some cases. Cymbal-like tonality. Why don't we take this second clocked random step gen, or actually it's the first one that we made, use it as a second input for the resonance. I'm going to turn the resonance down a bit and let the variation change it up. Oh, I realized I forgot to do something. I forgot to send this output to the pitch, because that's why the pitch isn't changing. There we go. Close the filter a little. Give him a bit of keyboard tracking like the other guy. Maybe make the variation not so extreme. It sounds good. I'm going to add another oscillator. This is a slave oscillator. So there's the slave output from B3 to the master input. So they're following the same pitch now. But I want this one to be 2 octaves below the other one. So you can see it's at minus 24. And he's a sine wave, so the filter won't affect him much, but we can run him into it anyway. Oh, did you feel the difference there? Now we got bass in the bass line. Sounds cool. That's how it's supposed to sound. Let's see if we can get the third voice in there. I'm a little bit running out of battery power on this darn laptop, but I will get there. Just see, hold on a second here. Okay, sorry for that delay. Let me just, where was I? Okay, here we go. We're at 63% on the load. Let's see what we can do with setting up a third voice. Going to get into some of the stranger oscillators now, since we've been through the quote-unquote normal ones. But we'll use some standard filtering again. And a normal AD gate. I might use only one osc for this third voice, because I want to get that kick drum and hi-hat in there. But I don't know if I'll be able to do that, because they're 12% each and we're at 78.5. Let's just see what we can do with one voice. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe it won't. In fact, in order to... That's good, okay. I'm going to conserve some processing power here. So first I'm going to take control signal mixer, and I'm going to take the outputs of the 2 sequencers that I have and send them in there, although one of them will be inverted. Then I'm going to send that to a key quantizer. Instead of making a third sequencer, it's too much trouble anyway. And I'm going to set him to 32 like the other boys. And give him some notes in the key of C. And send him to the pitch input. And then I am going to make a pattern gen, because I still need one of those. And we're never going to get... There's never going to be any space for my drum, but whatever. I'll live with it. connect that to the clock. I'm just gonna, for a moment, I'm gonna deplug these cables and make the patterns fixed instead of always changing. See how that works for me. There's the third voice. So let's just turn these voices from 100 to 0 for a sec. Sounding not bad. Let's do another control signal mixer. Rather than making another LFO, I'm just going to mix our two existing LFOs and invert one and send that to the filter here. The other guys are at 24 and 12, which means I'm going to put him on 18. I'm going to track the keyboard. I'm going to see if I can use this LFO to sweep the spectrum. Yep. It's not bad. I might prefer this LFO doing it. Yeah. I like this sound. It's the sweeping the spectrum that makes some of those notes really pop out. Let's dial back the voice 1 and 2. Sounding pretty cool. It's almost time to finish it off here, so give me my kick drum. Plug him into the output. I think I can use. What if I use this? Will this work? That's too many. What if I use a clock divider? Will that work? I'll put the clock divider here. Send the output of the sequencer clock to is in. Send the out to the drum. There we go. There's a 4 on the floor for you. I wonder if I can even send this to velocity. It's too extreme. Let's unpatch that. Come on, get out of there. Five is a funny little kick. It's kind of weak. I kind of like it. 3 is really solid. No. Well, 3 sits in the mix real well there. Let's try that other one, the mystery kick. Yeah, it's pretty good. Divide this by 8. Gonna need to reset that. Hold on. No. Still need to be on. Let's just reset again. Hold on a second. That's sounding good. Okay, cool. And at 95%, I definitely won't get another drum osc. Maybe I can fit percussion osc. 4.9. No, it's 0.2% over. So I think we're going to stick with that today because that's what we've got space for. I'm so low on battery power and on my own personal time, I don't even have time to clean up the patch, but what I will do is name it and save it. So, what number are we on? Something big. There we go. 84. I'm going to call it 3 Glory Vox. When I say glory, I just really mean multi-oscillator voices. I guess that wouldn't mean the same thing to everybody, but it means I'll be able to figure it out when I hear it again. So yeah, I like the sequence. I like the amount of variation. I like building each voice so it sounds good on its own before we, rather than trying to map this all out and then hope it sounds good when we connect the wires. So, as I said, following my own advice for a nice change. Let's save it in the synth. We're about 16 patches away from filling her up, which I look forward to, although I won't be ending the stream at that time. I'm going to keep on going. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing your Sunday with your fellow worshipers here in the big church. We don't worship me. We worship the big board here, the proto-intelligence that we are all building on our modular synths. So it's been real. Thank you for tuning in again. I'll be back just as soon as I can with another stream or with more synth videos. Appreciate all your support and comments. Keep subscribing, keep liking, because we love you. Peace out.